Okay, welcome everyone. This is Carrie Sammons, and this is a special edition of our monthly class that we love to do online. And today is Earth Day, so happy Earth Day to everyone. And it's also my Nana's birthday, and if she was still with us, she would be 94 today. And I always loved getting to celebrate her with flowers and just kind of she loved everything about life, and so this was a day that we always got to celebrate all the cool things that God has given us in this world, right? And so this is one of my very favorite classes to teach. The topic is titled Green Up Your Life. I've taught lots of different iterations of this, and doTERRA's actually asked me to speak from the stage several times about this particular topic. And this, I would say, is how and why I was first introduced to doTERRA. To tell you a little bit of that backstory, when I was first became pregnant with Madeline, our oldest child, so this would have been 13 years ago when I first was pregnant with her. It was like a wake-up call for me that suddenly I had another life inside of me that I had to be accountable for. And so I started researching and digging in and better understanding what it was that I was filling our home with and what I was filling my body with. And that was the first time that we as a family started, well, it was just Gary and I at the time, with a growing baby inside me, but we started to try more organic foods, and we really liked that path. And so that was kind of how we baby stepped down that way. And then I really took a good hard look at what we were cleaning our home with, and the different things that I was washing laundry and washing the toilets and the showers and polishing the wood and cleaning the windows, and so many different things that I actually checked out a lot of books from the library, and I just dug into this, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's so many toxic chemicals that don't have to be disclosed. I learned that if you try to read the labels of so many of these cleaners, they don't have to disclose much. And that was kind of frightening to me. And I started rethinking about candles that I was burning and those wall plugins. I mean, we had those wallflowers and candles and we wanted our home to smell like home sweet home, and for people to walk in and just have that, oh, it feels warm and cozy and nice and fresh and clean. And I think my whole life I had grown up equating clean equals chemical. Like, in order to make your home clean and fresh and detoxed, you have to use chemicals. And it was a real big wake-up call as I started to dig into these books and learn how some of the things that we have, just the everyday items like baking soda and vinegar and lemon juice, and some of these can be more effective and totally safe. And when you're pregnant or when you have little ones that are crawling around on your floors and so close to the carpets and things like that, it really causes you to say, what are we putting, what are these things that they're breathing in or eating? And I remember growing up, funny story, and a lot of you can probably attest to this, but I remember bringing home from school when I was in kindergarten this big sheet of poison stickers, and it was a skull and crossbones and said toxic, and I think it was like fluorescent green and fluorescent yellow or orange stickers. And I gave that to my parents, and they stuck them. And I remember these yuck stickers with those were the stickers they put on all the chemicals to let my brother and I know those are toxic, those are poison, don't touch those. And so they taught us really well about those things. But what was so neat and freeing as I started to research this and really start to live it is that I thought, I don't even have to use those toxic stickers. In fact, as the years went on, I realized that we didn't even need the safety latches anywhere on our home to prevent kids getting into chemicals. Maybe we use the safety latches to prevent them making a mess of all the pots and pans or other things, right? But we've never had those toxic chemicals in our house ever since back then when I started to just become aware. And so it was it was several years later that Madeline was born in 2006, and then Connor was born in 2008, and in 2009 is when the essential oils were introduced into our life. And that was just a beautiful aha moment. We had a miraculous experience with the oils helping Connor's digestive issues, but very quickly I was super excited to use these oils in all of the other ways that I was reading about how to use them. So that is what I'm excited to dive into this topic. And I really I'm over here on my phone. I can see the comments and people chiming in. And so if there are specific things that you want to hear more about, I don't know if I'll catch it in time on here, but I want to encourage you all to chime in. For those watching this live, feel free to help answer each other's questions. And then I will scroll through here and try and catch things as well. And then after it's over, if I didn't get your question answered or your comment, I will be able to see all that afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little thing where I can share the screen. So bear with me for a second. And let me pull up this. And by the way, if my cursor happens to be in the way, because usually once I start this, I can't see my mouse. So if you all are seeing the mouse in the middle of the screen, let me know and I'll try and move it out. So, okay. Well, going green, what does this even mean? And I think it means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And so really the focus of this is, because this is a vast topic with so many different directions that we can go. One of the things that I'm really passionate about, because it took this for me, it took me understanding why I needed to, why it made a difference. Like, what would it matter if I changed to using recycled products versus the run-of-the-mill paper towels, for example, okay? And so I really want to start talking about just kind of building a case, I think, for why it's important to go green and why it matters. And then I'm going to share some of my favorite top tips, some of my favorite essential oils to use, some of my favorite recipes, and then some ways that you can share this, okay? So that is the format that we're going about right now. And for those of you that are already essential oil users, I think this is a topic, again, that I'm kind of preaching to the choir for some of you, but I hope that this gives you some good perspective, or maybe some different areas I think where all of us can keep improving. Like I said, this is an area where we just need to kind of baby step our way, not be overwhelmed, okay? That's my request, is that you don't get overwhelmed as we're going through this, because you can't change everything at once, but just pick a few little nuggets that stand out to you, okay? This picture just made me laugh and kind of sad all at the same time, because this is something that we see on different parts of our planet, just how toxic the water sources, the air quality. You know, there are a lot of people that live in places where there's air quality alerts. When we were in Atlanta, we were warned, for the leadership retreat, we were warned that there was a water sanitation issue, and that to only drink bottled water. And I just thought, you know what? We have toxins all around us, and a lot of them, it's such a large scale issue that we feel like we don't have control over it, you know? But I think that one of the things we've really got to remember that we do have control over is our personal actions and the ripple effect that has, right? Don't you agree with that? You know, I was actually, I'm going to tell you another little story. Years ago, I was at a job that I had, working at a college in admissions, and we were taking our lunch break, a bunch of us that were coworkers. And one of the gentlemen that we were having lunch with, and he took his water bottle and he threw it into the trash can. Right next to the trash can was a recycling bin. And I said, hey, take that water bottle and put it in the trash can. And he said, seriously, he threw his arms up in the air, and he's like, what is my one water bottle what difference is that one water bottle gonna make? And it's like he poked the mama bear right there, because I just got all excited and energized and was like, listen, that's the whole point. Like, if we don't all embrace that, our one step of putting the aluminum can into the recycle bin and taking that extra effort to do that rather than the trash can, like, every single drop, like every single bottle, every single can, it does make a difference. And it has to start with us to change that philosophy and perspective, right? And so maybe that is the biggest takeaway that some of you could get from this. But if you don't recycle, for example, that's a great way to start, is to have a recycle bin and just do that one little thing, because that is going to help in so many ways keep our earth a more friendly, beautiful, safe, less polluted place to live. So what we do have the most control over, though, is our homes, what's inside of our homes. I can't totally control the air quality outside of my home, but once you step into my house, that's where I say, I'm in charge, and it's my fault if there's some issues in here. And I want you to all just take inventory that in our homes, there are lots of sources of indoor pollutants. If you're in a new home and you have that beautiful new house smell, well, we've come to learn that a lot of times that's from the off-gassing of paint fumes and carpet that's installed and wood that's been treated. And we actually, when we went to Madagascar last summer, we stayed in a hotel that had just been finished. Our room, they got it finished just in the nick of time. And we got there and they had, we had to open up all the windows. They had just polyurethaned and coated and treated all the wood. And it was beautiful craftsmanship, but we were like suffocating, and we knew, like, toxic fumes, we're sleeping in here, you know? And so those are the kind of things that's really just good to open your eyes and be aware of what is happening inside of your home. And the other thing that's a good question to ask is, how clean are the cleaners actually, right? I'm going to read a couple of statistics. There's 80,000 chemicals that have been registered with the EPA in the last 30 years, and only 2% of those have been tested for their safety. And 90% of all poison exposure occur in homes, okay? There's another statistic that says indoor air pollution causes 1 death every 20 seconds, according to the World Health Organization, okay? And since the ingredients of many household cleaners are considered trade secrets, only the manufacturers know exactly what's in them. And I think, sadly, our country has it flipped around. In other countries, they have to register these things and have safety tested and show proof that it's safe before it can go on the market. Whereas in our country, they can put things so quickly on the market, and it's not until they get tons and tons of complaints that something might get recalled. So this is, again, it's good to just know the way our country operates, and that it's not enough just to be a good label reader, okay? So, oh, look, here, I had some of these statistics right up here on the next slide. So we'll just skip past this. So what I encourage everyone to do is, rather than let this stuff bog you down, just say, hey, I can take control here, and let's have a fresh start. And this is a really great time of the year with spring cleaning and April and Earth Day. And there's a lot of good reasons to kind of get the whole family involved and say, what are we going to do about this? So step number 1, become aware. Think about your home. Take inventory. How is the air quality in your home? And I will say, this is a great time of the year to air out the home. You know, open up the windows and let everything kind of breathe. And sadly, because I deal with seasonal allergies, which I'm dealing with right now on this beautiful day where everything is blooming, that's one of the things that's really hard for me, because if I air out everything, the pollen comes in. So we just try and look at what we actually use our apps to see what the pollen levels are, and we do try to air out our home as much as possible. But there's some other fun ways I'm going to share with you how you can help the air quality in your home. And I also just love helping people remember this is truly a win-win, because not only are you helping the environment, right, but you're also helping the health of your own family. And so I don't want people to think of this as a luxury, green living as a luxury, but really, truly as a social responsibility. So for all of you that are on here, if I can have an amen or some thumbs up on any of the stuff that you're agreeing with and that's really resonating with you, okay? So now, let's take it down even another like more specific notch. What's under your sink? And if you have not done this recently, I really encourage you to actually take inventory and look at wherever it is that you store your household cleaners. So open up your under your sink, in your laundry room, if there's a bin in the garage or wherever you keep things. I want you to look at this all. And most likely, you know, some of you out there have maybe already reverted to like making your own products and all natural stuff, but there are a lot of you that you might have started making all natural stuff, but you never got rid of the junk. So because these bottles, a lot of things are stored in plastic, these containers actually degrade over time. And so whether you know it or not, a lot of stuff is getting leached out into the air. I want you to like really do an awesome spring cleaning, get everything out of there and take inventory on the things that you absolutely need, okay? And step 2 is that we need to disengage the autopilot. I don't know if you can see that behind the little video screen there, but clean doesn't have to mean chemical. This does not have to be a massive undertaking. And honestly, all of these different tips I'm going to give you are going to save you money. And the other thing that I think is so important to note is that you don't have to feel defeated. You know, if you've been living for 70 years with some of these chemical and clean, you know, go together, our bodies have an amazing ability to heal and recover. And we just, I think, need to kind of have a new refreshed attitude about it and say, okay, it's never too late. And on that same note, I just really want to reiterate again, like this does not mean everything has to be a huge overhaul at once. I love Deidre Imus. She is the author of some of my favorite books on this topic. Her first one is called Green This and Greening Your Cleaning. And then she wrote volume 2, Growing Up Green, about baby and child care. And then volume 3 was called The Essential Green You. And one of her quotes was, real long-term changes aren't the product of dramatic resolutions, but actually of gradual, barely perceptible adjustments in attitude and lifestyle that are made over the years. So an amen to that. How many of you can agree? How many of you out there feel like you've been baby stepping your way through this and maybe it seemed a little bit overwhelming at first, but as you started to green up one area of your life, you found it to be freeing and fun and healthy and exciting, and it kind of just snowballed and led you in a fun way down that path. So let's continue to go down this path and talking about how we would make over our cleaning cabinet. First of all, like I said, get some really great recipes. I have taught classes over the years on this, and so I collected some of my favorite recipes on this topic. But honestly, nowadays, you can find these recipes everywhere. So you could just Google search like all-purpose cleaning spray using doTERRA oils, for example, and it'll pull up so many great ideas. There's another, Aroma Tools has a book called Modern Essentials Living, and this has a whole section in here. It has a lot of great stuff on cooking with essential oils. There's a whole thing in here on cleaning and some really fun recipes in here. All sorts of great, and I actually have a slide at the end that's going to show you my favorite books on this topic. But I would suggest just go to the library or go online to Amazon and fill your cart with a few of them. And then look at the ingredients. And most of these things you'll probably have in your home already. And get your family involved. Look at these adorable pictures from years ago of Madeline and Connor and Reese and Nora Holmes. And we had a green cleaning DIY recipe day where Betsy brought her kids over and we just made soft scrub and all-purpose sprays and window cleaner. And the kids love it. And it's so empowering knowing that we're making things that the kids can use to clean. Like don't we want to train up our kids and our grandchildren to actually get involved to help us clean? Yes. And so we got to make sure that we're using, we're making products that aren't toxic, that if they accidentally get it in their mouth or their eyes, it's going to be fine, right? So if you want, you can screenshot this. This is 6 of my favorite different kind of all, cleaning 101 type things with all-purpose cleaner, window and glass cleaner, dish soap, wood floor cleanser, and some air freshener, okay? The sky is the limit, and you all might have some of your own favorite recipes that you love using. And I will say, once doTERRA came out with their all-purpose cleaner, the OnGuard Cleaner Concentrate, a lot of those things that I used to be making individually, I kind of eliminated because I found that I love this OnGuard Cleaner Concentrate, and I can practically clean every surface of my home, and I really love the results, and I love the smell, and it's so concentrated. For a big 24-ounce spray bottle, you only need 2 tablespoons. And of course, you can do more concentrated versions of that if you want a little bit more powerful cleaner for your bathrooms, for example. And I know a lot of people that love also adding additional maybe wild orange or cinnamon or some additional oils into this. But it has a full bottle of OnGuard essential oil in this cleaner concentrate. So how many of you have found this to be an amazing solution? I wish I would have brought it here. It's in the other room. I could run and go grab it. But one of my favorite things that I've made with this cleaner concentrate is I have a giant roller ball. It's like it's kind of like a bigger sized roller ball, and I fill it up 2/3 with the cleaner concentrate and then the rest with distilled water, and then shake it up. That just makes it so that it rolls on a little bit easier, but that is my stain stick. And so I keep that in our laundry room, and anytime something comes in that I know needs a little bit of extra TLC, I rub it with that stain stick that I made from that. Another great thing that I use the cleaner concentrate is to make my own all-purpose cleaning wipes. And I'll tell you what, this is a really great gift to give to the teachers at the beginning of the year for the kids' school supply list. They always request Lysol or Clorox cleaning wipes for the classrooms. And I just really loathe those cleaning wipes for a lot of different reasons. They're just, especially if the kids are the ones that are going to be handling them, but it's off-gassing a lot of those really toxic things and putting in the air. And we do want the classrooms to be disinfected, but there's a better way. And this is a great option. And I found that the teachers love it. They're like, oh my gosh, it's so much more exciting and pleasant to clean, and we feel better that we're not breathing in those toxic fumes as well. So I'm just hanging out here on this slide for a little bit so you can screenshot this as well. I see a lot of people chiming in that you love the OnGuard cleaner, and several people are also adding in the OnGuard laundry detergent, which, yes, that is an amazing addition that doTERRA gave us a few years ago, and I love using that. I was using all sorts of interesting ways of cleaning clothes. Like some of those, you can get those big green pods that have minerals or something in it that you can put in and wash without even using any detergent. And I was always a little bit skeptical. I think I just want things coming out like smelling fresh and clean, like the smell of clean, not like a fragrance or anything, right? And so I found that the OnGuard laundry detergent's awesome for that. And personally, I like also adding in about 5 drops of Purify essential oil. And then I also like adding about a cup or a half a cup of baking soda and a half cup of white vinegar to every load of laundry, and everything comes out so fresh and soft and clean and bright. So that's my personal little tips of how I do, how we greened up our laundry routine. I don't have a slide for that, so I thought I would just share that real quick. Okay, and then here's a really great soft scrub recipe, because The OnGuard Cleaner Concentrate is fabulous for 99% of the things, but it is nice to be able to have a soft scrub for some of those things that need a little bit more elbow grease. So this is a recipe if you also want to screenshot this. And I have some of these different recipes that we can probably post too, but baking soda, Castile soap, water, vinegar, and then really whatever oil you choose. So super simple. I'm imagining most of you have all these ingredients in your own home. And then I like using mason jars or something glass that has a wide mouth that's easy to kind of like get a spoon in there, and also that it's not going to break down the plastic. Now, for my OnGuard spray, when I'm doing the spray cleaner concentrate, it is okay to use certain types of plastic bottles because remember, we're not ingesting that. So as long as it's a sturdy kind of plastic, it's okay for the cleaner concentrate. At least that's my rule of thumb based on what I've learned, okay? I see a lot of you saying that you love all the OnGuard products, and several of you also use Purify for your laundry oil. Okay, now here is a recipe I shared last spring, and this is a really cool recipe. It's an all-purpose cleaning pod, and I use these. Basically, I found the recipe. I created it from other ones that I found in different books that we use for our dishwasher detergent, and you can also use those same pods in your sink to freshen up the garbage disposal. And then I also will go around and drop them in the toilets and let them fizz for a few minutes and then go back in and clean them just to give them an extra burst of freshness, okay? And this is a video. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find this, or if you're in our on our team, you can search Carrie's Kitchen or all-purpose cleaning pods. Just go to our YouTube channel right now is currently this Sammons, Sam, and you can just type in all-purpose cleaning pods and that'll come right up. You can watch this short little video on how to do that with all my best tips, okay? So in general, you can get so creative with all the different ways that you use oils and what oils that you prefer. But I just made a quick list of our personal favorite ones that we incorporate when we're cleaning. So of course my go-to is anything citrus. I love in my kitchen just having, I use Norwex cloths a lot. And so a lot of times I'll just put a drop of lemon or orange right on there and then just wipe down the countertops with that. Super simple. And we found that the Norwex cloths, hold their integrity with the oils using them too. So that was fun. You'll see the bottom one on this list is maybe a surprise, but we love Slim and Sassy. If you think about the oils that are in there, lemon, grapefruit, cinnamon, peppermint, ginger, those are all things that are so like bright and freshening. We love diffusing Slim and Sassy. Of course, I love drinking it. That's probably what I have right here in my water bottle currently. But it's a really great cleaning oil, and it's one, sometimes I'll make my soft scrub recipe with that, and then I'll add a little Melaleuca in there. Melaleuca is another one that's just a trusty standby, really great for floor cleaners, okay? And then Purify. If you don't own that one yet, it just has that smell of fresh, clean. It has a lot of the citrus oils, but it also has pine and cilantro, which just give it an interesting smell that is uniquely very fresh. And that is Gary's favorite, that he'll often take that and spray down the inside of trash cans, like the outdoor trash can and the indoor trash can, spray it down, and then just hose them out. And it totally takes away any garbage can stink, like so fast. I know other people that will put Purify on maybe a piece of paper or an old cloth and put it in the bottom of trash cans before you put the trash bag in there, and then it just keeps it nice and fresh. So feel free to use share some of your other tips. Nikki Wright is saying petitgrain smells amazing to clean with. She used that in her garbage disposal pods. Awesome. That's a fun tip. And by the way, with that recipe, if yours has trouble expanding because that citric acid, it creates a chemical reaction and expands. I think depending on the humidity and the altitude of where you live. But once that expands, I kind of squished it back down until it stopped expanding. Then I put it into the pods and then let it dry with something like a Pyrex dish over it. Some people had trouble with that, and then other people's, their pods ended up crumbling. And I'm here to tell you, if yours ends up a messy disaster, it's okay. Just put it in an airtight container and then use it by the spoonful in the same way. It doesn't have to look like a cute little pod to use it in all of those different ways, okay? So this is just a fun, I just put a few couple of fun things up here. doTERRA has a lot that they're always publishing about cleaning and using the oils in a green cleaning type of way. These are the ones that they picked, and it's so funny because I found that image after my slide had already been made. I'm like, oh, it's a lot of the same stuff, right? And then there's also, if you like the idea of going all out and making a set of green cleaners and doing a DIY, there's so many fun labels that you can buy. So if you go on Aroma Tools or wherever your favorite shop is to buy essential oil gear and paraphernalia, you can find so many fun little pre-made labels. And even if you like the idea of teaching a class on this, it's a really fun class to invite people to and do a DIY night and let everybody leave with like a soft scrub and an all-purpose cleaner and introduce them to the oils in that way, okay? So I wanted to, because the topic of tonight was not just green cleaning. This is really green up your life. So I wanted to share with you, as we're kind of winding our way down, my 10 favorite key ways to green up your life, okay? So we already talked about number 1, which is clean kindly. Number 2 is I want you to be very intentional and take inventory about your water that you're drinking. And if you are like, oh yeah, we are really picky about the water and we always buy bottled water, I want you to take a second thought on that, because I want you to think about how we can drink really good quality water and not create so much waste, okay? We use a reverse osmosis system that runs right into our kitchen sink, and then also the water, the RO water comes out of our refrigerator. There's a lot of ways that you can have good quality, awesome water. There's even places at our grocery store, there's a place where you can take your jugs and refill it for like 39 cents for an entire gallon of really good, clean, filtered water. If you have other favorite tips on water consumption and just how you can make sure you're doing it without always having a water bottle, of course, when you're on the go, make sure you're using a reusable water bottle, okay? And on that same note, kind of in the flow here, is choose recycled products. If you're at the grocery aisle and you can choose recycled paper plates versus the run-of-the-mill ones, you might pay $1 more, but I want you to just think about what it is that you're communicating, and it feels good to get behind some of this stuff. And by the way, if you're not recycling already, then that is, of everything, that's a really great place to start, is get in the habit. Put a bin out. And maybe you're not in an area where you're blessed to have curbside pickup, but guess what? Get on the phone. Find out where your drop-off center is. Find out if you need to pre-sort it in advance, and create a system, because that is a really great way to help make the world a happier place for everyone and all the plants and animals, okay? Another rule that we have in our home is kicking off your shoes at the door. And when I'm having a class, we just put a friendly little sign that says, welcome, leave your shoes by the door. And it's just become our family's habit. And it's so cute when our kids go to anybody else's home, they always take off their shoes. And a lot of times people say, oh, you don't have to take your shoes off. Our kids are like, oh, yes, we do, but they've learned, like, we track in so much stuff. Today's a great day to use as an example. People are laying down lawn fertilizer and all of these different things. And it was kind of a wet, muddy day the days before. And so it's all stuck to the bottom of our kids' shoes. And so we don't want to track that stuff. Not only the dirt, but it's the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides, the dog do. You just don't want to track that stuff through your home. That's an easy way to keep your house nice and clean. And then houseplants, this is one of my favorite topics, okay? If you want to improve the air quality in your home, get excited about getting plants. Here's one of my happy plants that my dad just gave me. Thank you, Dad, for this cool Dieffenbachia plant. It's a really hardy indoor plant. And plants are one of the coolest things to have in your home. Get plants that are meant to be houseplants, and what they do is they absorb all those, they suck up the toxic chemicals, and then they off-gas fresh oxygen for us to breathe, right? It's so beautiful. It's a very symbiotic relationship that we have with plants. And there are a lot of plants that are low maintenance. The picture I have right there shows several different kinds of plants that are really great. So you don't even have to have a green thumb as long as you just buy the right kind of plants. And a quick little story about that. Our next door neighbors on both sides had their houses tested for radon, and both of them showed that they needed to get mitigated for radon. Well, we're right in between them, so we thought for sure we were going to need that. So we had a company come and we got a second opinion, and the guy was like, wow, I'm really impressed to tell you that you're well below the range. You don't need to have mitigated. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. Why do you think that is? And I said, I teach on the importance of houseplants, and we diffuse essential oils that help oxygenate the air in our home. And he said, yes, I think those things that you're doing are making a huge impact. Obviously, we are scientifically kind of proving it. So isn't that really cool? We have plants on all the different parts of our home, and make way for making your home green that way. And then I'll just click through some of these real fast. Opt out of junk mail. There's a couple of different websites. If you just do Google search for how you can opt out of junk mail, it'll give you different ways that you can do that so that you don't have so much waste, okay? Plant trees. Isn't this a great day on Earth Day to be talking about the joy of planting trees? Make that a habit with your family. Last year, we planted several trees on our property, and it just feels good. And even if nothing else, like if you have kids or grandkids, or even if you just like the idea of seeing new things grow, just get some seeds and plant them in little pots and put them in your windowsill and just watch some things grow that maybe you can transplant outside. Number 8 on this list is buy local and buy organic as much as possible. Local means that they're not nearly as much gas and fuel and resources have been used for things to have been shipped to finally get to your home, right? So if you can buy local, go to your farmers markets. They're going to all start back up here in Ohio again soon. And then organic, it just means that they didn't use all of those toxic chemicals to spray them down. And we have to still not just quickly, one of the things I wanted to say here, this is in one of Deidre's books, book 3. She said, don't fall for some of these things. When they say free range, antibiotic free, no additives, no chemicals added. She says, better than nothing, the cage free thing, with eggs. But she said, the things that you really want to, we want to shop smarter. And she said, the best bets are the certified organic or certified humane raised and handled, pasture raised, biodynamic, free farmed. Okay, so we need to get really smart and don't just take some of these marketing things that they're plastering all over what the foods that we're buying. Okay, number 9 is a really important one in our family. Make your bedroom a tranquil retreat. We have a rule that there's no devices in our rooms, and we don't have TVs. And I know this is probably a big stretch for some people, but we spend a third of our lives sleeping and trying to refuel our body with good quality rest. And so I just really want to encourage all of you out there to find whatever ways that you're willing to make some little minor adjustments to make your bedroom a more tranquil retreat. When it was time for us to get a new mattress, we got a really awesome non-chemical, the mattress topper is actually wool, so you don't need, it wasn't treated with all the different fire retardants. And then we bought organic bed linens and sheets, so that stuff that are, and even pillows, you just got to think about those things. We diffuse oils in our room, and I think just keeping it a free of devices means that's where our body knows that we're going and winding down and shutting down. And so I feel like we're all getting better sleep because of that. How many of you can also testify to maybe you've made some of those changes and it's helped you with your sleep? I'd love to hear from some of you. Okay, number 10 is diffuse doTERRA essential oils daily. This is an awesome way to green up your home. I want to read a few little things on this. It says, when diffused in our homes, they increase the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. For example, frankincense and breathe transport oxygen and nutrients into our cells and brain. They also help to destroy pet odors, attack mildew, and absorb airborne dust particles. Essential oils are by far the healthiest, cleanest ways to deodorize your home. So please unplug any wall plug-ins, dispose of them properly, stop burning candles if they're not like really good quality beeswax and safe wicks, you know, and just diffuse, put more and more diffusers around your home and just embrace that, okay? So I've talked a lot about cleaning out the chemicals from your home, and what I don't want you to do is dump them all in the trash can. I actually want you to take inventory, gather things up, put them in a cardboard box or two, and then do a quick little search on where your nearest household hazardous waste, the HHW collection facility is. So for old paint, there's a lot of different things that they know the trash men aren't allowed to take. But if you have all of this stuff buried in a trash bag, they won't know it. And so please do the earth a favor, because we don't want this stuff going into our soil and into the groundwater, right? So you need to dispose of that properly. So all of this to say, just start with one simple change and go from there. Because once you green up one aspect of your life, I can guarantee you're going to want to continue. Going green is a constantly evolving process that all follows from that tiny first step. So for those of you that are watching, please share maybe what your first step was in this process, or share with us a few of the things that you heard here that you're excited to try and put into practice. You might want to take a screenshot of this. These are some of my favorite resources and books that I've read over the years and gotten some of my favorite ideas from. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen and just go back to hanging out here with all of you. So hopefully this was informational, educational, and inspirational, that you've gleaned some good nuggets that you're excited to try, or maybe reminded of things that you were like, oh yeah, we were doing that before and we kind of lost our footing. I just thought of another fun little tip when you're wanting to keep your bathrooms deodorized. This is a super easy way to diffuse constantly in your bathroom, is drip oil on the inside the toilet paper, like the cardboard thing inside the toilet paper roll. And then every single time that toilet paper is dispensed, it's like freshening the air. There's so many creative ways that we can do all of this, okay? So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the month, and I hope you enjoy sharing this, and I hope that you all feel confident about speaking up and speaking out if this is an area that you're passionate about too, because we need more of us to help share that one little change here is a beautiful step in the right direction. So I will stop the recording, and then I'll hang out here a little bit longer if any of you have questions, okay? Over and out.